This is Seasons of Discontent with your hosts Rick Snyder and Matt Combs on the Hogstein Network.
Welcome to Seasons of Discontent, Season 5, Episode 26, brought to you by Rick Snyder's Washington across social media, everywhere you go. I'm Rick Snyder.
I'm Matt.
And we're back discussing all things Washington sports and life as part of the mighty Hogstein Network. Well, man, I just kept the same note on the budget. Disappointing loss. Once again, the Washington football team had chances to beat the Green Bay Packers. They got 0 points in 3 red zone trips against the Joe Barry defense that had given up 15 for 15 in the red zone before that. Joe Barry kicks their butt in this baby. There was so many woulda, coulda, shoulda type of things that went on.
Mm-hmm.
If they'd scored a lot more, I have a feeling Green Bay would have scored more, but still, I thought when I gave out my grades on Twitter, I gave out a lot of C's and all. It wasn't an awful game, but it was a missed opportunity for sure.
Two observations real quick, and you can expound on these. One, just like last week with the Chiefs, the Packers basically handed us the game and said, here, take it if you want it. And we couldn't do anything with it. And I'm sorry, but a trademark of bad teams are when you leave points on the field, and they've left a lot of points on the field against Green Bay. Heineke should have never slid or dove or whatever he tried to do and gave himself up at the one. He could have walked in. He might have taken a shot, but he would have walked in and it would have been 6 points. Blew it. He blew it on his first kick. It got tipped. So there's 10 points right there. And then like you said, they went 0 for 3 in the red zone when the Packers were 15 for 15, allowing teams to score in the red zone, and we can't get in the damn end zone. Another thing is this team, one of the things that we talked about a lot in the offseason was our wide receiver core being our strong suit of the team. And aside from Terry, nobody's doing anything. I know there's injuries and stuff like that with Samuel. We haven't really seen anything from him. Harmon got put on practice squad. AGG got put on practice squad. But, Humphreys was brought in for Fitz, and Fitz hasn't played since the first game of the season. He contributes less to nothing. Cam Sims is out. Our strongest position has turned into a one-man show. So, Terry had a great game. And I hope, Rick, they get a quarterback so they can lock him up, because if they end up losing him in free agency, we are screwed. But yeah, it's just more of the same. The game is there for them, and then they find ways to lose it.
They had 17 snaps inside the red zone. Didn't get it. And not just inside the 20, inside the 5.
Yeah.
Heineke, one thing I've noticed for the last few games is when he slides early. He gets up 1-2 yards easy. And while I hate to criticize that, because how long did we spend about RG3 couldn't slide and kept getting hurt?
Yeah.
Heineke's a little fragile, and I think he doesn't, want to risk it.
Yeah.
And so that was just kind of a ridiculous play. He could have run to the end zone, no problem. And just once again, premature sliding, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. I was like, oh man, that was, I think overall he showed me some things. What he showed me was go back to being Taylor, running around, trying to do what you can, screw all this game management talk we've been doing. And I thought he played a better game.
Yeah.
Now, the word came out today, I guess, that Ryan Fitzpatrick is way behind on his recovery time.
Yeah, he's still on crutches, isn't he?
Yeah. So he's, can he make it back for the very end of the season? Maybe, but at that point, he's not going to want to. And why would they want him at that point?
Easiest $10 million he ever made.
He's going to make $10 million for 20 minutes work.
Yep.
God, almost as much as you make. That's crazy talk. People don't know Matt's really rich.
No.
So, it's just, so Heineke's the guy. And here's the one thing I guess we'll talk about maybe next show about, do they make a trade? Because next week's the trade deadline. I agree with you about the receivers. Humphrey's got a couple plays today, and they don't throw it to him much. Ricky Seals-Jones, if that's your lead receiver, man, it's going to be a bad day. That's not what he's there for. They just don't have much. The running game didn't have much again. And
Well, Terry was their leading receiver. I believe he had 127 yards and a touchdown. But yeah, I get what you're saying. If outside of Terry, if you're throwing the majority of your balls to Ricky Seals-Jones, then there's a problem. But yeah, I mean, do they? That was going to be a couple of my questions for you. One, do we see Kyle Allen? Because look, I agree with you on Taylor. Let him be Taylor. And yes, he's Greg Olson brought it up in the broadcast. He brought up the playoff game against the Bucs. That play where he separated his shoulder changed the way that he plays his game this year, because he knows that he has to be durable or he loses his spot. He could lose his spot to Kyle Allen if he's out for a game or two with a shoulder problem. He is a smaller guy, as we've talked about. But Rick, the thing is, a lot of the plays that are designed for this offense by Scott Turner, you need to have an accurate, strong arm. And I don't see that from Heineke. We all know he's got a weaker arm, and he still loves to overthrow guys that are going to get a wide receiver creamed going over the middle. But my two questions were, one, are we going to see Kyle Allen? Or two, do they make a trade for somebody? And then I'll even throw in kind of like a 2A. Maybe it's not a trade. Do we see them bring in like a Cam Newton for a tryout or something like that? I mean, it seems like now that the kicker situation is solved, are we we don't need to keep trying out kickers anymore. Let's bring in some real position players, especially linebacker. I see nothing out of Jamin Davis.
Yeah. I mean, when you saw Aaron Rodgers, I think it was the first touchdown, he was running and threw it across his body to the receiver. I mean, that play normally is a disaster kind of play. There, he zips it to the guy and they score. And I said, that's Aaron being Aaron, the Hall of Famer. Yeah. That's what you want. And of course, there's only a handful of these guys around on there. I don't see them bringing in an outsider. He could have brought in Cam if he wanted. Now, Cam is now vaccinated. Notice that he finally gave that up because he couldn't get a job in the league. So he's vaccinated now. And I just don't see him going outside it for this point, because they're 2-5, and we all know where this is going. So I think that's part of it on there. I just think you keep riding with Taylor for now. I think Taylor, and you develop him, because I think Taylor can still be a valuable number 2 spot starter. And in the NFL, as we know, you need a second quarterback. So I say keep him going, for that. And to win anyway, you might as well develop your backup quarterback. And the word is supposedly they're not thrilled with any of the quarterbacks at the top of the draft. I'll call BS on that, man. It's everybody says this stuff, and then it gets to February and they see him in the combine, and then everybody talks themselves into something or whatever, but they all get, nervous for it. And I look at this year's class, there's 5 quarterbacks. I don't know. Mac's doing okay. I mean, Justin Fields is playing okay, I guess. The guy in San Francisco is not doing that well. Trevor Lawrence got a crummy team around him. It's hard to tell.
And the same thing with Wilson, and Wilson got hurt today.
Yeah, so it's just, it's a crapshoot anyway. But I don't, another story came out this week that, just talked about how Washington was not a desired destination for free agents anymore, because people were tired of the nonsense with Dan Snyder, right. And they just don't want to do it anymore. You have to pay a premium for those kind of things. And he did for a while, and everybody came and took his money, but then the rest of the league caught up to that kind of thing. So I don't see anybody, if Aaron Rodgers becomes a free agent, I don't see him coming here.
No. And that was the thing we had heard rumors this week also about. Miami was close to closing a deal with Houston for their quarterback. His name is escaping me. Deshaun Watson. And then all of a sudden, somebody threw in, oh, well, Washington is involved, and if the deal for Watson goes through, they're getting Tua. No, there's nothing to that. John Keim and everybody quickly got rid of that rumor. But who's available via trade? I mean, who would you want? I mean, Matt Ryan played pretty well today. I believe they lost, but, that's a $40 million cap hit, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, plus you want to, if you actually do make a deal for somebody, you're setting it up for 2022. You're making a guy you think is going, because it's nothing. You guys not going to walk in here and know the system and be productive and lead to the playoffs. That's just not happening.
No, it's not going to happen.
So if you do this, you're doing it thinking he's the guy for next year. There aren't too many. I mean, Mariota might still be the best one on the board at some point for them, but to try and go get in the offseason. I agree with you about Terry McLaurin. I've been thinking about it. If they don't really get a quarterback, he has 2 years left on a contract, basically. So, I could see him saying, screw this, man. I want to go play somewhere where I can win with a good quarterback and lose him. I mean, look at the other guys that have left here. Cousins left, Trent Williams got his way out of here. Sheriff's going to get his way out of here next year. I'm missing somebody. There's another one. I mean, these guys are forcing their way out of this place. So I can see Terry also saying, and he's a good guy, and I know he'd love to stay here. But at some point, you do look at your career and go, what am I doing?
Right.
This. So I could see that happening too. I don't know. This whole thing is messed. And then Riverboat Ron today didn't impress me again, man. He's just not impressed me lately on things. Like they went for the 4th down, and of course it failed. Those kind of things. He didn't go with the kicker at one point. Early in the game, it's 4th down. They could have kicked the field goal, and he didn't. And I thought, you wanted this guy, use him. Now he gets his first one blocked. just so appropriate. He does every time he misses one. We're just going to write he blew it. But
you blew it.
Make him. I won't have to say that joke. First one, who knows? Maybe it's just nerves. It was his first kick in the NFL.
It was very low. It was a very low kick.
Right. So his form was wrong for that. And then they did make a 45-yarder fine. So maybe he'll be okay. Who knows?
His kickoffs were good. I did like his kickoffs. I mean, they went way out the back of the end zone.
Yeah. Ron didn't use them when a critical time early to kick a field goal. And I thought, man, this is where you show me what you got. He didn't do it. And I was a little surprised. You didn't have to go for it on 4th down there at that time.
This seems to like between Ron, not taking the gambles that he needs to at certain times. I also see Scott Turner, the offense not really being uncorked like it's supposed to. And, a lot of dink and dunks. I mean, even like towards the end of the game, I mean, you're throwing little 5-yard screens to JD McKissick. Like, come on, man. I mean, at least take a shot.
Why did he spike the ball with 1 second left down 14?
I have no idea.
Hey, what the hell was that? That was stupid stuff.
Hey, Rick, they didn't take their timeouts to half with them, so that was good.
Yeah, but it was just so. That last one at the end, I just thought, this is dumb.
Yeah, because there's a 15-point play in the NFL that they just added this year, right? And I think I missed that memo.
I know what they'll say. Oh, it's to get experience to try and do that for a game you can win. And I don't believe it. You do that in practice too, every day. Practice.
I'll say this before we leave. We do have to remember this is a 7-9 team that luck boxed their way into a division win, and now they're playing they're playing number 1 ranked teams. I understand people's issues with the team, and I know that you and I have a lot of them, and a lot of people disapprove of what's going on right now, but you have to remember this team was 7-9 that luck boxed their way into a playoff game.
Yeah, but they regressed. That's the worst part.
They did. But I mean, look, I can't explain it. I can't explain it aside from harder schedule, changes in personnel. Who knows? There's a lot of excuses, but yes, they have regressed very, very far.
All right. I'm Rick Snyder.
I'm Matt.
We'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Seasons of Discontent on the Hogstye Network.